And welcome back. It is Ray Michaels with Total News Nation and Grassroots 50. I'm here with the one, the only BoDittle.
Yes.
Now, you've seen Bo around. He's been around for a long time, taking care of, what was it, in the trenches?
In the trenches, yeah.
Wow, and you actually got into the trenches.
Yeah, it's not just a name. It's actually the trenches.
All right, now you've been working a lot with Turning Point.
Yes.
Is that TP USA?
Yes, Turning Point USA.
Wow. So tell me what you are you an influencer with them? Are you doing projects for them? Tell me exactly what that is.
So the official title is content creator, and essentially they just send me places and I cover the footage. So if it's a protest, if it's a march, if it's a rally, whatever it is, I bring content to them for their platforms to post. So
okay, so you go to an event, you know it's going to be a very liberal event.
Mm-hmm.
Do you kind of scan the audience and look for the weirdest person with the crazy hair and all of that stuff?
You nailed it. The head on the the head on the coffin.
The nail on the head, yeah.
Nail on the head, yeah. That's exactly.
The head on the nail.
And I think, funny enough, that's what they liked the most about me is they were like, search for the craziest people. And I was like, oh, I'm ahead of you on that. I know exactly who I'm looking for. And so, I sent them in the footage. And they're like, oh, my gosh, you took it ahead of what we were even expecting. Like, you got the crazies.
Well, it's so funny because I watched several of them where the furries, is that what they're called? Furries, where people believe that they may be an animal. But people believe they may be anything, right?
They think it's funny because they think they can be animals. They think that they can be furries. They think that they can be a man or a woman, but yet they can't be black.
They can't be black?
Yeah, like you can't identify as a different race or that's racist. But then if you're a man or a woman and you identify as the opposite, that's completely fine.
Isn't that like a speciesist?
Yeah, kind of. It's just very ironic. You can be anything you want except a different race. But gender, furry, whatever, you can do that.
All right, so what if I said, somebody said, where are you from? I said, I'm a Native American because I was born in America. And if I'm not a native of the place that I was born, right, would that be acceptable? Can I be a Native American because I was born here as a native?
You would have to ask them, honestly. I think to most people that'd be perfectly fine.
All right, so where do I find the rule book that would allow me to understand what is acceptable and what is not?
Yeah, so it's very funny. They don't have a rule book. What they have is just this process of you do it, and then they get to decide if it's racist or not.
So do I need like a DEI card? Do I take an online course? How do I do this?
All of those would be extremely helpful. If you carry a DEI card, they will respect you more, and you'll probably get away with more.
So I can actually take an online course?
Yes. That is a real
And that
thing.
would make me an expert?
Yes.
And that would make me be able to decide what is racist, what is not racist, what is acceptable, and what is not acceptable?
Absolutely. It is that simple.
And who runs these courses? Is this accredited through the AMA?
It's they/them. That's who runs the courses.
Oh, them.
They/them.
Well, it's funny because I saw a guy walking around with a they/them. He actually had a name badge.
Yes, because apparently if you don't have a name badge, then no one knows how to identify you. But if you have a name badge, magically they know what your gender is.
And they call these pronouns, right?
Yes.
All right. So is a pronoun just a professional noun?
Yes, it is. That's exactly what it is.
All right. Because you'd think if you were a pro or if you're like a super, you'd wear a cape. So it's basically a noun with a cape that operates under some sort of profession.
Yes, like a gender construct.
Yeah. So you're a contractor as well.
Yes.
So if you can construct your gender, you would be considered a contractor.
Exactly.
The human and the English language is very difficult to understand at times.
It is. A lot of people say it's the hardest, and I would actually agree with that on some instances.
Well, you wonder why people say certain things, right? Like I went to a gun-free zone, yet they don't have free guns there.
Yet again, the English language. That doesn't make sense. You would think that you would have free guns in a gun-free zone.
You would think. And then I actually was watching, somebody said that this was an assault weapon, and I literally watched it for 30 minutes. It didn't assault anybody.
It's crazy how that works. The funny thing is, like, if you ask someone to define what is an assault weapon, they can't do it. Their go-to is like, oh, it's an AR-15.
And what does AR stand for?
Armalite. But according to them, assault rifle.
AR stands for assault rifle.
Yes.
Now, have you noticed that whenever you're looking at firearms, the one that looks the scariest
is the one that gets
most. That's the most dangerous weapon because it looks dangerous.
Yes. The irony in gun control debates is just so crazy because you have a semi-auto pistol, which does the same thing essentially as an AR. I mean, a 9mm or a 45, they're basically just as lethal as an AR, but they're for some reason coming at ARs.
Have you noticed that a lot of people want to like ban automatic weapons?
Yes.
Not knowing that you
all
can't.
Guns, or most all guns, are semi-automatic.
Yeah, you pull the trigger once,
Yeah.
or you can actually pull quicker.
Yeah, if liberals had their way, they would only have bolt actions, to where you have to, cock it out, reload it every time.
Because when the Second Amendment was written, you actually had to have the powder.
Yeah.
And you had to have the thing, and you had to load it by hand. So do you think, and I know you've done a little bit of research on this, do you think the average person knows that even the founding fathers challenged each other to duels?
Yeah, I don't think that many people know anything about guns. The amount, and I've said this before, I've been to many protests, I've been to many rallies. The most unintelligent are by far the ones that do the gun rallies or the gun protests.
And what are they actually protesting?
Well, they're protesting gun violence, but when you ask them, like, anything about a gun, they don't know. And when you ask them, well, what gun should be banned? They say ARs. You say, why? They say, because it's semi-automatic. You say, well, most guns in 2024 are semi-automatic. And they're like, oh, okay.
So either they're automatic, meaning you pull it once and it's rapid fire, or you pull it once and one bullet comes out of the chamber.
Right.
So is there something other than a semi-automatic or an automatic?
Well, you have bolt action, but I mean that's what they
You
want.
still have to pull the trigger.
Right. But they think that it takes more time, and so those should be the only ones. But if you're not a gun expert, then you're going to need more than one shot unless you're pointing it right in the head.
Well, there's 3 guys coming at you.
Yeah, exactly. That's another good point. If you have multiple people coming at you, and the only thing legal is a bolt action, you're dead. You may be able to injure one, but that doesn't neglect the fact that you're going to die. Like, look at Kyle Rittenhouse. Imagine if he had a bolt action. He'd be dead.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about DJT.
Okay.
And his choice, I find it very strange that everybody says that they don't like him because he doesn't make good choices, yet he's choosing people from all aspects of life and political persuasion to be part of his team, yet he's the one who we can't trust.
Well, before we go into that, let's point out that the people saying that lost the popular vote by a lot, so they're the minority.
Oh, but we don't need the Electoral College. It should be about the popular vote.
Hey, it doesn't matter what you believe. They lost both of them. So, I mean, it doesn't matter if they wanted the Electoral College or not. Either way, they were done for.
I have a magna cum laude from the Electoral College. I just want people to know that.
You have a what?
A magna cum laude.
He's the man.
I asked a friend one time. He was bragging.
Yeah.
He said that his daughter graduated magna cum laude and his other daughter graduated summa cum laude. And I said, why didn't they just graduate in English?
The one-liners.
And they keep coming. Here we go. All right, so Tulsi Gabbard.
Yes.
What do you think?
Personally, I like her. I think that anyone that's bold enough to lead the Democratic Party has my respect. Do I think she's 100% an ally? No. But do I welcome her into the Republican Party? Absolutely.
All right. So let's take Kennedy, for example, right? Health and Human Services. He's going to stay in that lane. Does it really matter how he feels about gun control if it's not part of the purview
Absolutely.
that he's been selected for?
Great point. No, it doesn't matter at all.
All right. So he chooses Elon Musk, right? And Vivek Ramaswamy to take down the spending, the overspending of the government. Does it matter how they feel about gender equality?
Yeah, no, great point. And absolutely not. They need to stay in their own lane. I think that Trump is going to make that very vocalized. You know, I appointed you for this. You're the expert in this. Stay in your own lane. That's the way it should be.
All right. So what if we choose somebody for Health and Human Services who doesn't understand if they're a man or woman? Does that make a difference?
Yeah, or extremely overweight.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you have more to health than just eating. You also have mental health. If you don't know what your gender is, then your mental health is clearly unstable.
Or if you don't know which is your baggage coming off at an airport, right? And you just happen to open up one and try on the clothes there. I don't know if that's ever appropriate.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So what are some of the things that you have coming up? Have you been assigned some things that are coming up here? Are you going to be at the inauguration?
Yes. Main thing coming up for me is January. Massive month. Endless content is going to be being made. The entire month of January essentially will be Washington, D.C. Going to be at the January 6th. Going to be January 18th. Are you familiar with the People's Protest?
Tell us about it.
Supposedly, it's the largest protest against Trump in history.
Who are the people?
The minority. The minority that lost the election is the protest. But they're all coming together. All of the different activist groups are coming together to protest Trump before January 20th. And so that's going to be on, I think, the 18th. But I'll be there. I'll be documenting it. It's going to be great.
So when you say you're going to be documenting, you're going to stay in D.C.
Yeah.
You're going to be going through the crowds and basically man on the street interviewing people.
Yeah, just remember, I'm just asking questions. That's all I'm doing.
All right. Now, how will you be dressed? Will you be dressed similar to them? Will they think that you're part of the organization? Or will you look like an outsider?
So it's either a onesie, a suit, maybe something else. To be honest with you, that's going to be a surprise. Not because I don't want you to know, but because I don't even know what it's going to be yet.
And that's a surprise for you.
Yeah, it's a surprise for me, too.
All right, so you're going to be there for that. That's on the 18th, you said?
Yes, I think.
Right. All right. Now, do you think anything's going to happen on January 6th?
I think I'm the wrong guy to ask because I told all of my friends that nothing was going to happen in the infamous January 6th. And I was wrong. So, in my heart, I'm saying no, but it could be. It just depends on how many people turn out. Right now, what I'm hearing is it's all going to be Palestinian protesters. So far, they've really not amounted to much. I've not saw much violence out of them. So, I don't know. I've been to a lot of Palestine protests lately. They're wild, but they've not gotten out of hand.
All right, so Bo, I want you to name one other country in the world that you can take the flag of another country and march in a protest in a different country, waving the flag of the country that you're not in.
Yeah, I almost said great country. Great question. I don't think there's an answer because it's no country.
Because I see we have a right to be here,
Yeah.
but they're waving the flag of another country, which means that is an invasion.
For them to want to be in this country so much, they flaunt every country except America.
So why are they here?
That is a great question. I think I have to go to the protest and find out.
All right. Mass deportation. We've already heard from Tom Holman from day one. They're going to take care of this. I have my own view about what they're going to do. I think they're going to say, we will give you an opportunity to leave on your own between this state and this state, and then we're going to start rounding you up.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Honestly, from hearing him talk, he's not going to wait around. I think day one we're going to see significant change. I think you're just going to get a random knock at the door. You're going to get a random knock wherever you're living with a bus, and they're just going to be rounding people up and sending them back.
You think they'll give them an opportunity to say, listen, if you leave between this date and this date, you may have the ability to come back in. If you leave after this date?
I don't think so.
No?
I really don't think so. I mean, Trump is very, very strong on national security, and these people, they've already broken the law before even entering the country.
So what you're saying is,
they're not valued.
We're not a nation of immigrants. We're a nation of laws.
Exactly.
And if you break the law, you break the law.
We don't owe them anything. They owe us everything. So why would America say, yes, we will give you an opportunity to come in here legally, when they were the ones that broke the American laws as they were entering the country before?
You mean we actually have laws that prohibit what Joe Biden was doing?
We're supposed to. We're supposed to.
All right, let's talk about the wall.
Okay.
Trump definitely said he wants to build the wall. He built a lot more than he had promised originally. But now the Biden administration is selling the steel at 5 cents on the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
What gives Joe Biden the right to sell the people's, it's the people's possession. Yeah. We bought it. What gives him the right to sell it at a discount?
Yeah, well, for Democrats to like democracy or claim they love democracy so much, they do a really bad job at showing it. Joe Biden has really abused his power since day one. Have you saw how many pardons he has given? It's like 5x any other president the last 20 years. So, yeah, I don't put anything past Joe Biden. He doesn't. He takes his power to another level.
I understand that he actually pardoned Benedict Arnold.
He's pardoned everyone. If he knows you and he thinks that you're an ally to make him more money or the deep state more money, he's going to pardon you.
Do you think he actually knows every person or even knows of them? Or do you think they just put papers in front of him and he just signed it?
No, it's definitely the latter, because, I mean, when you're in a position of Joe Biden, you're not going to know 174 incarcerated people. You're not going to know them personally, and you're probably not even going to know who they are online. So like we've said from the very beginning, it's not Joe Biden running the country, it's other people. That pretty much sums it up, that it is other people running the country. It might be his stamp of approval, but the big decisions are being made elsewhere, not through him.
What do you think's going to happen to Joe Biden?
I don't wish him death, but he's going to die very soon.
How about Jill, his wife? I
Yeah.
mean, because I feel really bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's been running things for a long time now, and, you know, she's kind of pushed him in. I believe it was elder abuse, but
Yeah.
she kind of helped him. I mean, anytime you got to bring a bunny in
Yeah.
to kind of help the president, you know, you're no bunny till somebody loves you, but I don't know. This was going a little bit too far.
Yeah, 100%. Jill Biden, she'll keep doing what she's doing. There won't be any change.
Doctor, she's a doctor. You think she'll go back to being a physician?
She doesn't need to. There's no reason. There's no reason. She makes enough money. She'll just keep being best friends with the Obamas. She'll just keep making her way. Do a little insider trading, which every big politician does. Dan Crenshaw.
Yeah, and that's got to stop.
It's gotta stop.
All right, Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
I heard recently that she may be running for governor of California.
I mean,
Would that be the nail in the coffin?
she has a better chance of winning California than she does becoming president. I think Gavin Newsom's going to start taking a step deeper into politics beyond being governor of California. And Kamala Harris, I mean, she was the least popular presidential nominee for the Democrats in 2020.
Well, she was appointed.
Well,
She never received one
2024,
vote.
2024, yeah.
No, she
And then-
left before getting one vote.
Right. Fast forwarding to 2024, she, for the first time in decades, the Democrats lost the popular vote and the electoral vote. I don't think it's because there's not many Democrats. I think it's more that people just don't like Kamala Harris. It has nothing to do with sexism or racism or xenophobia, whatever that is. It comes down to people don't like Kamala Harris.
All right, Fannie Willis.
Who?
Fannie Willis.
Okay.
Just removed from anything to do with any of the court cases because of impropriety as being an attorney. That went on way too long, didn't it?
To be honest with you, I'm not educated enough on Fannie Willis, so I'm not going to make a statement, but you're a very well-educated man, so I'm taking his word for it.
You're going to take the fifth on that?
Yeah.
Huh? All right, fantastic. So what do you have planned for 2025?
Continue growing with Total News. We're going to bring it to the moon, 200, 300, 400, 500,000 followers. There is no end. Continue growing my personal platform. I'm really trying to figure out the algorithmic code on X and just be the best man I can be. Maybe get married.
Wow. Very good. All right. You heard it here first. All right. One last question. TikTok.
Yes. Ban it.
Ban it?
Ban it.
What if it was put in a position that Elon Musk could buy it?
Sure. The only way I support keeping TikTok is if the community guidelines change. It is the most liberal BS platform ever created. And the fact that we have conservatives supporting it, I will never understand that. Sure, you have so many users. That's great. And it's a great way to spread your belief system. But you can't spread your belief system with the way the guidelines are. The algorithm only pushes out stuff that agrees with community guidelines. And what agrees with community guidelines? People that are Democrats. That's the only thing that gets pushed out. Republicans have been banned the last 5 years, 6 years. Nothing's going to change unless the guidelines change. Ban it. It's not free speech. It's a terrible platform, in my opinion. It's flooded by TikTok Shop and ads. There's no point in it. Go to Instagram Reels, but more importantly, go to X.
So if it was put in a position where it could be bought by somebody who would change it and make it more conservative or more fair and equal, balanced, would you say we could keep it?
Well, Elon Musk, even though he is right-leaning, he is fair. He supports free speech. He's not going to ban anyone on the left. So I would say if free speech wins on TikTok, absolutely. I will post on there 15, 20 times a day if free speech goes back on TikTok. No joke. When it was somewhat fair, I was posting 5 to 10 times a day. I was bringing them so much traffic and views. If they want me back on the platform, change the guidelines.
All right, perfect. We got BoDittle here. You've seen him around. You've seen him here on Total News. And you've seen him with TP USA. Thanks so much, Bo. Always
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
And thank you for joining us here. I'm Ray Michaels, and until next time, we'll see you real soon.